California, Washington bills would allow transgender people to seal records requesting name change. If passed, the bills would allow laws surrounding sealed name change requests to include transgender children and adults. Legislators in at least 2 states are discussing bills allowing transgender people to keep documentation of a name change out of public record. A bill in Washington would allow gender expression and identity as reasons to seal a future petition for a name change, and a California bill would require the sealing of petitions by minors to change their name and gender on identifying documents. The Associated Press said advocates warn that transgender people can be susceptible to cyberbullying and physical violence if name change petitions aren't sealed and previous names are available in public records. At the moment, only victims of domestic violence can have name changes easily sealed in Washington. Other states, including California, extend the same service to victims of human trafficking, stalking, and sexual assault. Democratic Senator Jamie Peterson is sponsoring the Washington legislation, which passed the Senate this month with bipartisan support and is expected to pass in the House. The bill is modeled on current laws in New York and Oregon and would also provide privacy to refugees, emancipated minors, and those who have been granted asylum. This seemed to me like a simple action that could go a long way in making transgender people a lot safer in our state, Peterson said. University of Washington graduate student Maya Xiao, who has changed her name, wrote to Peterson last summer urging reform after records of a transgender friend's name change were published in an online forum and led to relentless harassment. In the same internet forum, Xiao said her friend experienced harassment and came under fire last year for doxing trans people and maliciously publishing personal information. The forum has also been linked to suicides, the AP reported. The California bill, introduced in January and has not yet been scheduled for a hearing, would require the state to seal any petition filed by a person under 18 for a change to name, gender, and / or sex. Documents from a petitioner's court proceedings would also be sealed. Katie Molig, executive director of the San Diego nonprofit Trans Family Support Services, approached Democratic California Assembly Speaker Pro Tem Chris Ward with the idea after she became aware that the records can be easily found and shared. Molig said students she advises told her that this is a trend happening in middle or high school. Somebody's gender identity is an innate piece about them. It's intimate, she said, adding that many families don't know these records are public. They deserve the right to the privacy around their identity. Ward, also the vice chair of the California Legislative LGBT Caucus, said he hopes the bill will reduce the risk of bullying for gender non-conforming children. I want them to certainly be comfortable, Ward said, and free to be themselves. San Diego lawyer Clarice Perilet, who has an 11-year-old transgender son, told the AP that simply plugging her child's name into a search engine reveals the gender change. Perilet said she thinks those records should be sealed to protect the privacy of children and adults. Some law enforcement officers have expressed concern with the bills, stating they could possibly allow a criminal to request a name change to escape accountability. This is not the intent of the bill, and such cases would be rare, but there needs to be procedures in place to prevent it. Jennifer Wallace, executive director of the Washington Association of County Officials, said to the AP. The Washington bill would allow courts to unseal a name change file if law enforcement officials had reasonable suspicions. Sex offenders and incarcerated people would still be ineligible for a sealed name change.